Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, April 28th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? First two cards in our 5-card spread for today. Knight of Swords in its reversal, in combination with our 7 of Pentacles in its reversal. I mean, here, if you're feeling, oh, the joys of rest and relaxation. So here's the thing with the Taurus energy. It's heavy. It's dense. There's a lot of density when we come into these Taurus cycles because it is the energy of majesty. It's like, it's all in the shoulders is what I always like to describe it. It's a lot. That's why I point out I love Taurus energy because like the reason we bow to majesty is because like we're basically showing our shoulders to a certain extent because that's where we hold a lot of the Taurus energy. But the thing about it, and I keep on describing, I was talking about this before we started the podcast, is this new moon feels a little bit like a full moon. If you're feeling like that, if you're like, why does this feel like so intense? It's working. I want to describe this as like the energy that feels like you're decluttering in order to make room for something big, right? It's like working through the space of like the extraneous, like it's working through working through, I want to say like shedding the superficial, like getting the inconveniences out of the way, working smarter, not harder. And I think that a lot of this that we're seeing here is Mercury is going to be moving into Taurus in just a few days. Also, Venus is about to move into Aries. Now, you'll remember, like, I just want to tell you, there's like a slingshot effect happening right now because Mercury and Venus have been like going through this like cosmic yo-yo for like the last few weeks, if you'll recall. Especially, remember when we were talking, like we were like I'm sure I wasn't the only person. We had a bunch of astrologers too being like, March, ugh. Like, you know what I mean? Like going, March, ugh. And the reason we were saying March, ugh, is because, and I just want to describe this, we started March with Mercury and Venus sitting pretty in Aries. And then during that eclipse process, they were just dragged back into Pisces. The emotions just pulling you in, the nostalgia, the memories. Oh no, trapped in the memories. And the reason also being the fact that Neptune was moving forward into Aries. So there was a lot of nostalgia coming up. There was a lot of that observation in terms of how far one has come. But what was beautiful about that, and you'll remember, and this is why I said that there was a new partnership cycle that basically took off the minute that Mercury and Venus woke up behind Neptune, is when we are able to identify, when we come into the space of loving ourselves, when we start to appreciate our journey, we start seeing the past in different ways. I'm going to say that again. When we come into the space of finding the ability to love ourselves and love our journeys, we start to see the past in different ways. And that can sometimes be devastating, even as it's fortifying. And that's why I keep on seeing with a lot of this energy, like Mercury is now just flying into Taurus. We got Mercury is already like halfway through the journey of Aries. We've got Venus about to move back into Aries. At the same time that we have Leo that has moved out of Cancer. I mean, we have Mars that moved out of Cancer, and Mars in Cancer was like, ugh, right? It's like it's moving into Leo, which is a place where it much prefers to be, which is being able. And I feel like the thing that's beautiful about this is being able to recognize the emotions that help us put our heart into things, right? The ability to articulate upon things, the ability to speak from a place of vulnerability. And that's why I saw even last week, you remember there was a lot of that work in healing the ego, because when we start to heal the ego, it allows us to start being more open about the things that we're talking about. Like it allows for a lot of that. I keep on seeing like speaking upon something in an authentic way. Now, this is having a big impact depending on where we find ourselves in the frequency cycles. For masculine and feminine, in separation, that authenticity is and I want to talk about this here. And I think it's kind of interesting because we talk a lot about the fact that a healthy manifestation, one of the things we understand is like working through a healthy manifestation, we often start to get the ick. We start to like get sick of the things that move us out of the way of the things that we're trying to move towards. And so I just keep on seeing that there's a lot of this energy in separation that is tired of feeling like they're performing the act of the self in order to maintain a partnership. Because often, and I have to say this, like this is what we talk about when we feel like we're navigating another person's ego that is too high. One of the things that we talk about is there's that volatility or that sensitivity that often comes as a result to not having the healthy energetic ego, that often creates another person having the feeling of having to like walk on eggshells around another, right? And we the way that we identify this, like this is why we talk about the fact that a good emotional journey is not one that feels like it's indulgent on the self. It's not just one about feeling good all the time. It's like identifying where the work is, right? It's like it's getting your hands dirty on the self. It's not feeling like you're perfect. And one of the ways you can often tell that you might be going a little bit astray or off center, as it relates to healing journey, is if you feel like you're perfect and everyone else around you is flawed, like no. Something has gone way off, right? That's not a healthy spiritual journey. That's an ego. That's an ego. Like that's an ego thing, right? When we're in a healthy space spiritually, we understand that we're always in that pathwork of working towards perfect, right? It's never found. It's always searched for. It's never about arriving. It's about striving. So, and that's why I keep on seeing that there's a little bit, I want to see there's like a little bit of this, like, there's a little bit of this like protectiveness that I see is being released in some of the energy in separation. Because if this is energy that is trying to heal from not being able to navigate another person's perfect, right? This is a lot of the energy that's finding healing by saying, I like myself just the way I am, right? Because this is a reminder that with that in healthy relationship, we don't demand perfection in each other. We work towards perfection, and often energy that doesn't want to move forward on something will often try to articulate that the reason they don't want to is because another person is lacking or not perfect. But that's awful convenient, isn't it? We learned this during that Virgo full moon cycle, because perfect is never found. It's moved towards. So if someone's always in a space of like being able to point out flaws or point out reasons why not, this is the energy that is reaffirming and remembering that healthy partnership does not demand perfect from us. It's something that we move towards together. And that's why I see this energy. It's interesting, as I told you, it's the energy right now in separation that's in magician energy. But the energy's in magician because they're in an illusion-free zone. They're like, they're tired of feeling like they have to perform the act of the self, because often when you're in those unhealthy relationships or those dynamics that feel like nothing you do is right, it often feels like you start coming into the space of having to perform the act of the self instead of being able to be in the energy of the self. And that's why I see that something about, I keep on hearing the sheer act of resistance in the energy, encountering each other and saying, I am good. Like, I hear the energy almost going like, I am good enough. I am smart enough and people like me. Like, it's the energy that is reaffirming to themselves and reminding themselves that they're energetically worthy. And that's why I see that it almost feels like that act of resistance, because they're saying it's the act of resistance in healing from relationships that were requiring another person to, like, almost feels like another person was trying to cultivate the perfect person for them instead of being in a space of accepting who another person is in the process. That's why I see right now, for a lot of the energy right now coming into divine union, this may have felt, I keep on hearing, and I just want to, I need to stress this for the energy right now coming into divine union, because I have a lot of the energy right now coming into divine union saying, if everything is perfect, why do I feel so emotional? This is energy that's going through a heart opening right now, coming into divine union, that may be creating some turbulence. So let's walk through this again for the energy that may be experiencing this as they're coming into divine union. So often we talk about the fact that the body stores trauma. There are certain things that we hold within us because we don't feel safe enough to work through them. This is often why sometimes when we reach a point of energetic stability, when we find that solid ground in the relationship, when we finally come into the inner sanctum of healthy partnership, we can start feeling really triggered, because I see that this energy finally feels safe to, like, the body almost is unconsciously allowing that ability to work through something that they couldn't before, right? Because the energy of the body, it's like the unconscious system that says, okay, we're finally safe. That, it's like moving out. And I was talking about, that's why the message was coming through the last week. You can't bandage something on a battlefield. And this is why sometimes when we come into healthy spaces, we start feeling very vulnerable, because I keep on hearing, like, this is the energy that's finally having that heart opening. But often the first thing that comes out in a heart opening is the pain we've been holding. But that's why I keep on seeing that a lot of the energy is supporting one another through that, because it's almost like the aftershocks of coming into a safe space that finally allows you to express something that you didn't even realize that you were carrying. That brings us to the energy right now deep within divine union. And if you're going through this right now, you're okay. Okay, I'm just going to tell you, you're okay. All right, you're in a safe space. If you are, and I want to, like, your mantra right now for a lot of that energy is, you're safe to feel the things that you feel. For energy coming into divine union, this is temperance energy. And I feel like the thing with the temperance energy right now is it's working through frustration. It's working through a lack of ideal, right? In order to heal something, I keep on hearing, in order to heal something, you have to be willing to navigate through the less than ideal situations. It's giving me a lot of that, like, better, the only way out is through kind of thing. Because I keep on hearing, like, and this is why it feels like a lot of those heavy Taurus lessons, because Taurus energy often has to go through the paradox that often, in order to find a deeper level of comfort, you have to be able to navigate discomfort. You have to, like, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid kind of energy. So I just keep on seeing that there's a lot of energy right now working on something in such a way that, it's like it's working through something. But also it's like, it's saying to me, like, when you're working on doing something in a way that you haven't before, there's always a little bit of tension. There's always a little bit of frustration. But that's also how I see that the energy is feeling very elastic and adaptable in relationality to what it is that they're changing within the self versus what it is they're experiencing outside of the self. Fourth and fifth cards in our 5-card spread for today are our 4 of Cups in its reversal, in combination, there it is, with that 10 of Cups in its reversal. Like, avoiding difficulty is not a spiritual journey. That's bypassing, okay? Like, that's... We got to talk about this, okay? This is why we talk about a good spiritual journey is not about sunshine and rainbows, right? A good spiritual journey is not la 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 la. It's not. It's not going la la la. It's not refusing to hear things that are difficult, right? It's doing it's getting your hands dirty. It's doing that messy work. It's working through the difficulty point of what it is that you're trying to that you're trying to work through. And this is why we see and that's what I mean. Like I keep on hearing there's no holier than thou in a good spiritual journey. We're all in it together, right? And that's why I keep on seeing, like, that's why I keep on hearing a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union. Kind of like I keep on hearing, like, I'm not like this is plow energy. And that's why it's Taurus lessons, because Taurus lessons are often about plow energy. The only way out is through. In order to make something better, right? The irony in terms of working towards perfect is you have to be able to navigate a lack of perfection. Often energy that is always seeking perfect but doesn't want to get their hands dirty always exists in a space that they're constantly disappointed with the world around them, right? Perfect, again, it's more of that space. Perfect is not an expectation that we hold against each other. It's something that we pull together upon. So I keep on seeing that this is a lot of the energy that's working through something deep within divine union with that temperance energy. And I keep on hearing them say, perfect is made. It's not found. It's not about having distaste when you find something that's less than perfect. It's being able to get your head down and get to work in terms of how to make something energetically better. While for masculine and and that is something that I see that is the fortification point for a lot of the energy in divine union, because this is the energy that looks towards counterpart and says, I love you, because you always, I keep on hearing the energy that says, you don't decide to take the easy road. You take the road that makes sense. You take the road that you know is best, mindless of, like, because you don't try to shy away. I keep on hearing, you don't shy away from things that aren't easy. And this is why we talk about the fortification point of the soul being one that we understand, like that hard, like that work. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, one of the things that we see, and this is why I see that this might be a little triggering for some of the energy coming into divine union right now, because I keep on hearing some of the energy coming into divine union right now going, if everything's fine, what's happening, right? Because when we have those moments, right, and this is why I keep on seeing this, I just want to remind the energy right now that may be feeling like this, if you've come into divine union and you're saying to yourself, if everything's fine, why am I feeling so triggered? If everything's fine, why am I feeling so upset? Because often the body holds trauma until a time that it is safe to energetically release it. And that's often why sometimes we finally come into something that feels like it's energetically balanced and stable, and we immediately feel energetically triggered, because the heart opening that happens in that moment, a lot of that can start to come out. And that's why it's important when you're going through that you're not projecting it, you're just allowing yourself to feel it, because the ability to communicate upon it and not react to it is how you energetically heal it. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, I just keep on seeing, and I'm sorry if I keep laughing when I keep reading for the energy in separation right now, but there's something a little bit funny about this magician energy, because this is the energy, and I just need to point this out. It's Superman energy. Why is it Superman energy? Because they're having a heart opening. They're going, I'm sick of pretending to be someone I'm not. They're going, I'm sick of trying to be someone I'm not. I'm just going to be my authentic self, come what may. And the higher self says, what comes in the moment that you start being your own? And the energetic, and what is the higher self saying? Finally, right? Because often we start moving into the pathwork of finding ourselves when we're sick of trying to be something that we're not. The energy is like almost articulating of the energy saying, I'm sick of doing that. The energy is going, Finally, you're moving towards your manifestation. Often we move towards our manifestations. The song you hear is I'm sick of I'm sick of it. You got the ick. Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Swords and its reversal in combination with our Seven of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify. We've got here the Queen of Cups in its reversal. So let's we have to talk a little bit about this, because I see even now there's a lot of that emotional unpacking that's occurring at this time. But I want to just stress that one of the things that we're seeing right now, and I need to point this out, there's the, I just want to point out, I want you to see these counterparts in separation right now. And this is why I'm kind of I've got a little bit of this laughter here, is because we've got a Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups in its reversal. This is what it feels like as they're finding each other, right? We've got the feminine energy going, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. This is feminine energy saying, I'm not going to pretend I'm okay. This is the feminine energy that's saying, I'm not going to pretend things are okay. I'm going to be authentic in my emotions. I keep on hearing the energy say, my emotions are not a burden, as long as I'm doing the work to give the prescription on what they ask for. And in fact, if I come into, but again, when I'm being authentic about my emotions and the things that bother me, and I'm bringing the prescription with them, then the ability of articulating that protects me from energy that doesn't feel like doing the work, right? So that's the energy of the feminine that's recognizing and pushing themselves in that way. But it's hard because it's the energy of the feminine working through the context of not feeling like they have to people please all the time, right? And so that's the energy of the feminine. What is the energy of the feminine coming into Magician saying? My emotions are not a burden as long as I bring my prescriptions. But to someone that doesn't want to build with me, they will always seem like they are. Because I keep on hearing, I'm not here to be someone's dream. I'm here to identify and build into reality with someone willing to do the work. So feminine's almost saying nobody wants to work anymore. And masculine is saying, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. This is the masculine saying, my emotions don't move me further from being a masculine. That energy that feels that having emotions as masculine is emasculating is energy that is, again, building towards their dream instead of a reality. This is the masculine healing and understanding that stoicism does not require one to disassociate from the emotions, that the space of being in our authenticity, this is the masculine that says, me expressing my emotions, much like the same with the feminine, as long as my emotions bring their prescription. My emotions are not an energetic burden. It's safe for me to feel my emotions. It's safe for me to be in a relationship that allows me to express feelings. But if I'm working towards a relationship where another person has distaste for emotions, that is not someone who wants an authentic relationship. That's someone who wants me to perform the act of masculinity for them. So that's why I see, look at the tenderness that is coming through in these partnerships, because they're all about, I told you, this is why they're Magician energy, because they're coming together and they're shedding the illusion of another person's preconception that has prevented them from coming into their authenticity. Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our King of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now. This is why I feel like this is a little bit of a rough time for energy right now coming into divine union. And that's why I want to tell you right now, if you're coming into divine union and you're feeling a little, you're like, what is happening? I want to remind you, I'm going to keep on telling you this right now, that often when we finally find the stabilization point of healthy relationship, we unconsciously, the body is alerted to the fact that we're energetically safe. It starts to trigger a heart opening. And when it triggers a heart opening, the first thing that sometimes comes out in that heart opening is all the pain we've been carrying. So that's why I keep on seeing a little bit of this energy, working through something here and being I don't understand why I'm in a point of perfect and suddenly I feel so emotionally weak. I want you to remember that is like I keep on hearing it's like the emotional purge that's coming through, that's helping you recognize something that you didn't even know you've been carrying because it wasn't safe to energetically express it. So make sure that you're not projecting it. Make sure that you're articulating through it, not reacting to it. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is like, I just keep on hearing this energy going, the only way out is through. Like the only way out is through. It's giving me a lot of, it's giving me a lot of plow energy. It's giving me a lot of Taurus energy. And the thing is, and this is what we talk about, like a good spiritual journey is not about what's easy. It's about the direction you want something to go in, right? It's having that perseverance and pushing oneself, and it's pushing the envelope of the self, and it's working through. I feel like there's a lot of that energy that is working through the irony. Well, Saturn's transiting. Whenever Saturn transits, things get ironic. It's working through the irony that in order to move to a better pasture, you have to be able to plow through and create the ground, even if it's not easy, right? So it's more of those lessons that we see that often come through with the Taurus energy, which is, again, the only way to increase comfort is to push out of your comfort zone, right? You have to, like, if you want comfort, you have to be able to navigate discomfort. And so it's like, it's a lot of that energy that's working through those moments right now. And again, how they're having through hard conversations with counterpart in relationality to things they're trying to adjust and change, and almost potentially identifying and saying, like, is this something I need to work through within, or is this something I need to work through without? I keep on hearing, is this outside or inside? Continuing to get clarification between our King of Wands and its reversal in combination with our Four of Cups and its reversal. One card to clarify. Ooh, two cards coming out. All right, what do we got? Yeah, there it is. Okay. There it is. We got our Queen of Wands in its reversal in combination with the Hierophant energy. And I just need to show you this. Do you see this? Make sure, if you're listening to the podcast, I want you to pop over to our Substack today and take a look at this spread, because look at these combinations that we're having. Look at these two. We just got the Queen of Wands in its reversal with the King of Wands in its reversal right on top of each other, right? You know, here's the thing. When we're working, the beauty of being energetically perfect, the state of being perfect, is often the state of feeling flawed. I want you to remember that today, because it's not about feeling perfect, right? Perfect is not something that's found. It's something that is energetically made. So when we work in that space, we're not too hard on ourselves, right? And I feel like what's beautiful about this, and this is why I keep on seeing, there's something like, I keep on hearing, there's something somewhat painful but profound that's happening right now across the frequencies. Because, and I keep on hearing, the beauty, like the beauty for the energy deep within divine union, the gift that we get when we heal our ego is that we build into relationships wherein we have a clear mirror. And what does it mean when we have a clear mirror? When we don't build into partnership, where we're worried, like keep on hearing this energy that says to one another, they hold hands on their journey. These are the warrior partnerships that we talked about, that say, I always promise to be kind, which says that the ability, like when we're in healthy relationship, we heal each other's blind spots, right? It's a lot of that. I keep on hearing a lot of that work on intimacy that says, if I'm doing something wrong, you'll be sure to tell me, right? Because I keep on hearing the nature of love is the bond that we make with one another. And this is why we heal ourselves, so that we have the strength within us when someone says to us, I need to tell you something that is important but might be difficult, right? It allows for that ability to grow in the face of it. So that's what's really beautiful, because there's a lot of the energy right now of that working through those vulnerabilities and looking towards one another, having those hard conversations. But I keep on hearing this is like the gift of being in healthy partnership is always being able to have those hard conversations, either the conversations we have with ourselves in terms of how we feel and the partner that corrects us and like gets us out of an energetic tailspin and says you're being too hard on yourself, or those moments that someone says, I need to tell you something that I think will help you, right? It's giving that space that always says like, and I just keep on seeing that there's that adaptability that we build into that is so energetically profound, because we talked about the fact that the problem when you have too big an ego is it creates a force field around you, right? It's earmuff energy, because when you can't hear criticism, right? When you push off anything that you don't like, then nobody feels like they can say anything to you. That's often creates those moments that it feels like you're walking on eggshells. And that's why I always say, if you feel like you're energetically perfect, be careful. Okay, be careful. Because if you feel like you're energetically perfect, that perfection you're feeling might be the sound of a bunch of energy tiptoeing around you, is what I keep on hearing. And I keep on hearing that the space of being like the space of being in healthy partnership is the profoundness, the quiet profoundness is loud, is what I keep on hearing. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, right? I just keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy coming into divine union, that work that we see is, and that's why I keep on seeing, like, I want, if this is a lot of the energy that's feeling that stabilization point, but only in that moment of stabilization that they're suddenly feeling extremely emotional, like something from the past is coming back here. I told you Saturn's moving into Aries. It's a reminder that you're safe, right? But often what sometimes happens is when we reach new degrees of safety, only then we can have a heart opening. And the first thing that often comes out is all of that pain we've been carrying. And sometimes it can be a little shocking and be like, I don't know where that came from, right? And I can see the partners like holding each other and saying, I think you're feeling like that because this is the first time you felt safe enough to be able to energetically express that, right? So there's a lot of that. Like, I just keep on seeing there's some deep intimacy wounds that are healing right now for some of those chariot partnerships via V. And I keep on seeing learning and making sure that we articulate through the energetic heart opening instead of reacting to it. Because when we react to it, what do we start doing? We start projecting, right? So we never project what we're feeling. We articulate upon what we're feeling. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation, I just keep on seeing that a lot of this energy in separation. And the reason I keep laughing is I just see some energy right now coming out of separation and like saying to one another, I'm done pretending. I'm done pretending. Nah. Like the energy is like, but the energy is seeing one another and they're going, wow, look at them. They're beautiful. They're so authentic, right? Like the energy, like this is what happens. Like sometimes when we come into our authenticity, we feel like we're hideous. But I see the energy looking at each other and being like, you look beautiful like that. Because it's just feeling like that sense of remembering. And this is why the higher self is kind of laughing, because the higher self is saying, whatever made you feel that something about your authenticity was ugly, right? Continuing to get clarification between and that's the thing. All we do, like when we come into that authenticity, that's how they find us. That's how the perfect counterpart sees us. And that's why I keep on seeing, if this is the energy that says, I'm sick of it, like they're walking into their perfect relationship. And what are they saying as they're walking into their perfect relationship? I'm sick of it. And that's why the higher self said, and then they found it. They had to get sick of it before they found it. That a good manifestation isn't what you take on, it's what you let go. And so I keep on seeing that this is a lot of the energy that is learning that they don't need to put on the false illusion of the self to find the ideal counterpart. They just need to be wholly in their authenticity. Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Ten of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify. Yep, there it is. I love it. We've got that Moon card in its reversal. Perfection is made, it's not found. Right? We are not messes. We are works in progress. And when we inhabit this space of embracing who we are, we adore the beautiful masterpiece that is us becoming what we aspire to be. And that's why I keep on seeing that this isn't energy that's meeting each other in separation, and not saying that they're trying to strive for something. They're healing from holding that perfection outside of the self. They're not working in the context of another person's desire for perfection. This is the energy that says, if I understand my assignment and I'm in my authenticity, how you find me is intentional. And that's why we say there is no rejection. Rejection, and this is what we mean by non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean you don't care about anything. Non-attachment means respectfully, I can't control how you feel about me. You could be in this live right now. You could hate me, right? And frankly, respectfully, lovingly, how you feel about me, with the exception of one thing, is not my responsibility. There is only one frequency that I create within you that is my responsibility to heal. And that is confusion. The only feeling that is the responsibility of me to heal within you, if you experience me and it is upsetting you, is confusion. Because confusion is where trauma lives, and confusion can always be healed with clarity. So everything I keep on seeing is a lot of this energy that is feeling like, I feel like it's interesting because the energy is coming into partnership, feeling like they are hideous, because they are embracing their authenticity. And I hear the counterpart saying, you never looked more beautiful in that moment, because that is the energy that is finally having the ability to see the energetic counterpart. Because when we come into the space of our authenticity, that is how we are found by those that are meant for us. It's only when we reach that point. Because how can someone find us if we're hidden within the fabrication of the wall of the self of expectation? While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, I hear this energy that's going, what is happening right now? What is happening? And I'm going to say it again. If you're in the most stable relationship you've ever found and suddenly you're feeling like a mess, I want you to remember you're opening up a lot of that trauma that you've been carrying, because the body is like a little treasure box. It protects us from trauma. And often you can't heal something on a battlefield. So sometimes we hold something in. We don't even know we're holding it until we're finally in a safe space. And then all of a sudden, like the body goes, oh, we're safe now. Whoosh! Everything starts coming out because we didn't even know we were carrying it, because the body was saying it wasn't safe for you to express it yet. Right? Safety, building into that space, it allows for that context of recognizing and identifying that the body needs to be in a point of energetic safety to be able to heal the wounds of intimacy and to be able to express those. So I just keep on seeing, I want you to remember, if you're going through this right now and you're coming into divine union, I want your mantra right now is, I am safe in my heart opening. Right? As long as you're not reacting to it, as long as you're expressing through it, you are safe in the body of the self to feel what you're feeling as you communicate something that you may not have felt the ability to communicate before. While for a lot of this energy deep within divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now, this is like, it's much more back into the energy that we saw in separation, which is like, it's giving me a little bit of this, like, it is what it is. But that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now, these are temperance cycles. And temperance cycles are identifying, taking the temperature of things to understand if the change that is required to bring something into better alignment is something that is required, the work that needs to be done on the inside versus the work that needs to be done on the outside. And that's why I see that the beauty and the harmony of being in healthy counterpart energy is it helps us, like the authenticity that we build in a good connection allows for that ability of expressing something that we need to change within versus something that we are experiencing without, right? That's what we talk about with the ego check. It's like the ego, like that's how we check our egos. And again, and continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Wands in its reversal, in combination with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through. Yep, I'm not surprised to see that card again because we had that card. Was that our final card? Yeah, it wasn't the final card we had yesterday. It was the final card we had the day before. Four of Swords. And I want you to remember, and this is what's important, and we talk a lot about this with Taurus cycles, because the thing with Taurus cycles is, and this is often like a difficulty point that we, like, I always like to say, like, this is how you can tell if like every path work goes through something difficult. And this is what can sometimes be a little bit of an issue for those in Taurus cycles, which is the difference. And this is why sometimes the Mercury retrograde cycles really do numbers on Taurus energy. Helping one decide and determine the difference between a groove and a rut. Everything is based on cycles. They're the things that feel like they sustain us. Things that we identify as grooves are something that we say, I could do this forever. It's like, it's that energy that again, this is often why like those who are Taurus cycles don't like going on vacation because they don't like coming out of their comfort zone. Because when you create the energetic groove that you find peace in, right? It's the most beautiful of things, right? It's the energy that is created by finding a groove that energetically sustains you, right? It's like, it's that, you're like, I love, I like to describe it like, it's like, I love this song. I could do this, I could listen to this for, like, it's like, it's a lot of that. But when we have a rut, right? A rut feels like something that feels like it stagnates us. It feels like it limits us. It feels like it frustrates us. It feels like the monotony of something, right? And it's like it builds that sense of, and we can often tell that we are going through an energetic rut when we start to feel the pressure of resentment towards the pathwork. And this is what I keep on seeing that is happening right now, because there's something about, I keep on seeing something about releasing, like working through, and this is a combination, you'll remember, of the work that we saw during like all of that Mars cycle, right? Of understanding that the way we find our energetic grooves, the way we move in alignment with things, is not insisting upon things, right? Because sometimes, and this is what happens, when we're trying to move towards a manifestation, and then we get frustrated and we get mad and we're like, why isn't my manifestation working? Like, why isn't my manifestation acting the way that the manifestation's supposed to act? Right? like the universe just sits there and goes, that's weird, isn't it? Like, that's weird, isn't it? Because, we understand, like, sometimes that, and this is what we talk about through the difference between stubbornness and energetic tenacity. Right? When we're stubborn, it's like we hold on to things, but they don't feel like they move us in the directionality of our highest self, right? And the thing about it, and this is why I keep on seeing right now, this is really important as it relates to the energy in separation. Because I like to point out that the beauty of the handwork of the magician is that the magician is, and I talk about this in our tarot church class that I teach on it, the magician has their hand reaching upwards, right? It's trying to reach for the higher self. It's pushing its hand backwards because it's trying to hold back the ego, because we find ourselves in the space of identifying, coming into the balance of those spaces, right? When we're moving towards the higher self, we don't beat each other over the head right? We don't start beating ourselves up because we're not perfect, because it's very easy to overreach and lose sight of oneself in the process, right? Being able to heal from that feeling or that need for perfection, right? When we're working on the the egoic space is a defense mechanism. It's like our buddy. It's like it always wants to protect us. It gets a little out of hand. So we always work to have the energetic ego that we're proud of, because sometimes we have to say to the ego, buddy, I got this. Like, I know you're feeling protective, but I'm okay, right? So I just keep on seeing that there's a lot of that energy. And this is why I'm seeing for masculine and feminine right now in separation. That's the energy that says, if I'm good with me, right? If I'm good with me, if I know what my energetic assignment is, then remember that what I bring towards you right now is intentional. And that's why the energy is like, I keep on seeing that this is a lot of energy right now that is practicing non-attachment as they come into partnership. Because again, remember, non-attachment doesn't mean that you don't give a flying anything about anything. That's not existing. Non-attachment means respectfully, lovingly, how you feel encountering my energy is not my responsibility, beyond confusion. And that's why the energy says, and that's why I see that the energy is working towards that, because it's a hard, I keep on hearing them say it's a hard healing, because in the midst of doing that, they're letting go of the anxiety of feeling that they need to like move in a way of being energetically performative, right? There's a lot of that energy that is almost, I keep on hearing them say as they're coming towards each other, like rejection is protection. If you're in your authenticity and someone doesn't like you in that space, better to know that sooner rather than later, because if not, why would you build into a relationship where another person's going, like that all the time? Like, why would you want to be in a relationship where someone's like turning their nose up on your own energy? And that's why I feel like there's something that this is a wound here, because this is some energy that's leaving relationships where they felt like that was potentially occurring, right? While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, I just keep on hearing the training wheels have come off, right? And that's the thing about it. Like sometimes a heart opening feels like the training wheels has come off, because this is the energy that's recognizing and realizing that coming into healthy partnership isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of the internal healing. And this is the energy that's going, oh my goodness, I've got all of this work to do that I haven't been addressing, because having to spend all of my time, effort, and energy trying to build into the stabilization point of relationship hasn't given me the time to like work through some trauma I've been carrying. So that's why I see that this is a little bit of the energy that's going, how are things going? Amazing. How are you feeling? Like, everything's amazing, but but suddenly there's like all of this new homework, right? It's like it's giving new homework energy. This is the energy that's finally reached the stabilization point, and they're finding that new homework. While for masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now, one card to clarify we have here between our Queen of Wands in its reversal, the Eight of Wands in its reversal, and the Hierophant in its reversal. One card to clarify. Woo, there it is. Three of Pentacles. If you want something stable, you got to go through something that's difficult. There's a lot of energy right now, deep within divine union. I just see them kind of pushing the envelope to a certain extent. It's working through a lot of the Taurus lessons, which says the profound irony of finding new levels of comfort requires one to step out of one's own comfort zone. Like it's just I know it's hard, right? It's breaking new ground. It's new ground energy. So there's a lot of that. I feel like there's a lot of that work. And that's why I keep on seeing that there's a lot of conversations in relationality to trying to do something in a different way, and working with counterpart and saying, is it an inside or an outside problem? Is this something that I need to work on internally, or is this something that I'm experiencing externally? Because I just keep on seeing that the beauty of healthy partnership is being like, I keep on hearing that the beauty of being in a space where we heal ourselves enough that we know that we're building into the context of energetic counterpart that says, if there's something wrong, I know that you will tell me, right? I told you it's more of that space of we heal the ego so that there isn't this like force field of anxiety around us as it relates to energy talking around us instead of talking to us, right? It's a lot of that, like it's a lot of that space of being able to, like I keep on seeing, like the ability of having a heart-to-heart conversation with someone that is the gift that you receive when you're doing that work. So I feel like there's a lot of those energies right now, deep within divine union, having those heart-to-heart conversations. Continuing to have clarification between our Hierophant in its reversal in combination with our moon card. One card to clarify. There she is again, and they're in the reversal. And here's the thing about it. I love the fact that I keep on mentioning the fact that the energy deep within divine union right now is going through temperance lessons. And the funny thing with temperance is it's giving me like the lessons that we keep on having coming through in relationality to temperance are things of the nature of, again, when you're trying to work towards something, it's all about discernment, right? That's why I keep on hearing messages like you extend the olive branch, you don't cut down the tree, right? When you like, you can like, if something isn't going in accordance to what you want, like you can turn the other cheek, but you don't have to stick around to get slapped, right? You can turn the other cheek and then kindly walk away, right? Because, and this is why I told you these are the warrior partnerships that are deep within divine union right now. And these are lessons in acting honorably, right? Temperance is honor energy. And that's why we've got Leo in Mars, which says that when we're building into the space of our own honor, right, we do something in accordance with what we feel is energetically honorable. We give someone the opportunity to match us in that honorability, right? But if someone is not matching our honorability, we don't need to lower our standards and not be honored to navigate there, right? That's the energy that says that the extension of compassion that we give, moving honorably, is such that we offer, like it's about courtesy. We do something not because of what we receive. We do it because it's what we know is the right thing to do. And we give someone, when we do something that we know is the right thing to do, we give someone an opportunity to meet us in that same space, right? It is the honor, and that's why honor energy, Leo and Mars is honor energy, because our honor is an offering, right? Honor is an offering and saying, this is how it can be. This is how easy it can be. This is the change. And so that's why I feel that there's a lot of those conversations that are happening right now, deep within divine union, in relationality to being and acting honorably. Because when we're acting honorably, it's not about shedding the ego entirely. It's about having an ego that you are energetically proud of. This is what stoicism means, right? While for masculine, and while at the same time, and I keep on hearing, acting honorably is majestic because, and this is how it's moving in alignment with the Taurus energy, right? When we're not being stubborn, right? Instead of like when we're being like the different, like, again, we can tell that we're being energetically honorable because we have the ego that we're proud of. But when the ego is like, no, right? When the ego comes into that space and is like, oh, I don't want to let go of this, but like, why? It feels good. Like it's not enough to feel good. Feel good is good. And the thing is, honor often doesn't feel good, right? Because when you're doing something honorably, you're not doing it because it's indulgent. You're doing it because you know it's the energetic, like, right direction to move something into. It's like I keep on hearing it's the exquisite lean. It's the exquisite lean that says that regardless of what one expects outside the self, this is the way that one moves in accordance with one's own self. And that's why the higher, like the like a lot of that work that I see here is not saying, and I keep on hearing, it's not that honor is conditional, right? Like that's why, this is why we say, like, this is why if you do something in an honor space and someone doesn't meet you in that way, you go, never mind then, because that's not honor. Like that's not honor. Right? It's the internal compass, right? I keep on hearing the internal compass is not reactive. The internal compass moves in accordance to things, and that's why I keep on seeing, like, I keep on hearing, there's no fine then in honor, because it is the space of I keep on seeing honor is also surrendering to how it is experienced or received. And so I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that conversation that's happening deep within divine union. Now for the energy, and that's why it's in temperance. Now, for energy that is coming into divine union, for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, this is why I can see some energy right now going through a heart opening in the moment that they're like, I can see the counterpart being like, am I doing anything? And this is the energy saying, no, you have no idea. The reason I'm feeling like this right now is because I've never felt safe enough to express what I'm feeling. Right? Like this is the energy that keeps on saying to one another, it's an honor to hold you like this. Because there's something about being able to be in a space, they understand that they're healing wounds of intimacy, because this is the energy that's not taking that expression personally, because as long as we're not projecting it, right, when we have a heart opening, and as long as we're not projecting it, as long as we're expressing it, this is the energy that says to one another, it's an honor to hold you through this. While for masculine and feminine in separation, the thing that I keep on seeing is this is energy. And this is why I'm laughing about it, because this is energy that is literally in a space that they're like, I'm sick of pretending. And what is the higher self saying? They are sick of pretending. I'm not going to care what another person says. And in that moment, they appear to another majestically, right? Because when we embrace our authenticity, when we come to each other and we're not building into the context of being worried about how another feels about us, when we just embrace our authenticity, we become majestic. We become majestic. Because this is, and what does majestic say? Take me as I am, right? This is the energy that, like, in that moment, majesty is saying, I adore the energy that is me. And that doesn't mean, listen, you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you're full of yourself, right? It doesn't mean that you're like, I am the best. No, it means I love who I am. And I get to share that with you. And when you're in the presence of someone who has come into the space of celebrating the gift that is themselves, it is the energy of majesty, because it doesn't feel like someone who's trying to escape their experience. It feels like someone that is reveling in it. Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Swords in combination with our Three of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification. There it is. There it is. Ta-da! like what does the magician do? The magician goes, ta-da! So it's a lot of that, like that's what that energy is, the opening of that goes, take me as I am. This is who I choose to be. It is the celebration of the self. And what's beautiful about this, and again, we talk about this in the class that I teach on the magician itself, these relationships are ones that are operating not in a space of illusion, right? It's not illusory. This is the authenticity of someone saying, I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of that energetic journey. And that's why in that moment, the energy says, I'm not building towards the expectations of another. I know what my assignment is, right? Because in that moment that we let go and we release the anxiety, the illusion of rejection, we begin to celebrate the journey of becoming ourselves. So that's why I keep on seeing this energy that feels like they're coming towards each other like a mess. And what is the energy seeing? Like, look at this energy. This is the energy going, I am a hot mess. And this is the energy that says, wow, look how majestic that person is. Like, look at the majesty. Look at the majesty. Because that is the energy of the celebration of being in a space of deeply enjoying the journey. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, I keep on seeing this energy that's going through, like going, what is happening? Like, this is the energy that's going, what is happening? And that what's happening right now is a heart opening. Look at this. What's happening right now for the energy coming into divine union is a heart opening. And this is why it can feel so difficult, because that vulnerability, finally being able to articulate on something, being like, I didn't even know I was holding on to that, right? Because the body I keep on hearing, the body holds trauma that we didn't even know we were carrying until it feels safe, until we build into the sanctuary of healthy relationship and the body goes, finally, and it opens up. So just remember, if you're going through that, it's not always going to feel like that. Right? The first thing that happens when you go through a heart opening, the first thing that goes flying out, like go look at the myth of Pandora. What's the first thing that comes out? Pain, right? So give it a minute, right? Just give it a minute to let it out, because as long as you're not projecting it, right? As long as you're talking through it, this is the energy that's saying to one another, I feel the same way, right? I feel like, and that's the energy that when they do so, the heart opening, finally, it's safe to be able to articulate. Finally, it's the relief of being able to say, I'm healing instead of I'm navigating, right? Like, and often that moment, right? That moment that you can say, I can finally heal from something means I'm no longer experiencing it, right? While for a lot of this energy, deep within divine union, I keep on hearing that this is the energy that looks towards each other. These are those warrior partnerships that started deep in the year, which says it's an honor to be here with you. Because this is the energy that says to one another that it is a journey that they experience together. And you can see here how masculine and feminine are navigating that journey, right? Now, bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine, it's working. I keep on seeing masculine working on that energetic ego, right? And again, it's not about shedding the ego entirely. It's having the ego that one is proud of. Understanding, understanding that ego sometimes wants to rise up, like it's a defense mechanism, right? It's very easy, like especially for masculine, boom, like wanting to put your guard up. But then when you're observing it, when you look at the ego like a friend, you say to the ego, buddy, I got this. Okay, I got this. We're okay. We're not in danger. We're fine, right? Because often what happens when we don't when we don't check our ego, no one feels like they can talk to us because the ego acts like a bodyguard. And it's like, that's why masculine often has to work in terms of like saying to the energy of the ego, buddy, I got this. I can, and when masculine does that, they start to heal the inner child, right? While for feminine, this is feminine letting go of that need to people please. This is the feminine energy that says the space of being the space of celebrating myself is recognizing and identifying that articulating my needs will not move energy away from me that isn't for me. If this is the energy, like often, this is what's difficult with feminine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Feminine starts becoming afraid of asking for things, right? Because energy that's demanding of feminine in the moment of asking for something, what will the song hear as feminine comes into their authenticity? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? And that's why I see that a lot of the feminine energy says, I know who I am, because this is the energy that begins to understand and recognize that the energy that's in alignment with the feminine never challenges them in the space of articulating a need, but builds into the level of discernment in relationality to not apologizing for having them, but moving away for energy that makes one feel that one is asking for too much by having them in the first place. So there's a lot of this healing that I see here as it relates to the beauty of the counterparts building into the appreciation of the healthy relationship, wherein again they become each other's energetic powerhouse, because where what one needs the other is able to provide. As feminine becomes more secure in articulating their needs from a place of vulnerability, masculine can trust, doesn't feel like they have to decipher the needs of the feminine. So masculine feels more free to heal the inner child. So for feminine, this is a strengthening exercise, the ability to come into their own strength, to be able to articulate, to say things from their chest. It feels like I told you, the heart opening that's connected to the throat chakra. For masculine, it feels more like the downward journey of the heart chakra into the solar plexus. Because the masculine, as they feel their emotions, say, I'm safe to feel the things that I'm feeling. I'm safe to express it. Ego, stay down. Ego, stay down. Feminine's going like higher self, reach up. Bottom of the deck final card for today, between our magician and the star energy. I love this spread today. If you're following us on the podcast, be sure to take a peek at it. There it is, Page of Pentacles. Bing! New ideas, fresh start, new opportunities, right? Because that ability of working in that way, right? This is the energy that feels like, I told you, the energetic gift of partnership, the intangible gift that we create for one another when we build into that space of stabilization, is the counterpart that becomes energetically reliable, right? They don't need to be the same, because when they're doing this work asymmetrically, they always have what the other needs, right? It's not about sameness on these journeys. It's about the energetic alignment point in terms of sometimes, and this is why I keep on hearing they're asynchronous lessons, because that journey of doing so is one that requires, it doesn't require, and this is why, again, this is also why we talk about the fact that we take advice, but we don't follow another's direction, right? Like we take the energetic notes, because this is why we see that both masculine and feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, often have to approach things in different ways, right? Because even the experience of embodying that work, it looks different within them, right? So there's a lot of that. I keep on hearing there's a lot of those, there's a lot of that heart opening conversation there about not only how they feel as they do so, but observing the difference as they move through the world together in terms of how others experience that, right? And that's why I see even now it's something difficult, because for often masculine has recognized that masculine, when they try to come into their self, energy says, wow, look at you, you're so strong. And feminine sometimes gets that, and someone goes, who does she think she is? Right? And that's why we heal. That's why we, I keep on hearing, when we're working in the spiritual space, we're all family, because we understand that we're letting go of the preconceptions that others have that allow us to move into the context of being able to be receptive and appreciate how those journeys are so different, but the asynchronousness of them that allows for that observation of what we can do to create a better process, to create a better world. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, that is coming into divine union. This is why I see that there's so much of this heart opening here, because a lot of that ability of doing so, I keep on hearing the energy say, I don't know where that came from. I didn't know. I can hear one counterpart saying, I didn't know where that came from. And I see the other counterpart saying, I do. You've been holding on to that for a long time, haven't you? Right? Because that's why the energy doesn't take it personally if there's something that's being opened up, building into that point of stability, because it's the energy that's saying it's an honor to be here as you're finally able to articulate upon something that you've been holding for a long time. Heart opening. While for masculine and feminine, and as long as we don't project it and we talk through it, the healing comes. While for masculine and feminine in separation, This is why I see, like I told you, did you see all of the cards leading up to this? The energy being like, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to be a mess. And the energy goes, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to be a mess. And this is how they see each other in their authenticity. Wow. Look at them. Look at the majesty. Page of Pentacles. New energetic connections formed from authenticity, from authenticity of self that leads to authentic connection. Bottom of the deck on this reading. There she is. I love the fact that the High Priestess keeps on showing up. And it's interesting. You'll remember she's been showing up a lot and she's in her reversal. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay? Because the High Priestess in its reversal is actually about the ability to articulate upon something that has energetic meaning to you, right? Like there's a lot of that. I keep on seeing there's a lot of that space here. Like this is a lot of it. It's giving me a lot of like saying the soft part out loud kind of energy, you know? Like it's giving me a little like High Priestess in its reversal has a little bit to do with like letting go of like, what will they say? Who is they? Like, who is they? It's a lot of that, like letting go of like and here's the thing, when we're working through the space of, and I need to point this out, we often have these moments, like everyone's like, often we don't come into our authenticity and being like, what will they say? But we never say, who is they? Like, who is they? Like if we're all doing that, then it feels absurd, right? Because and that's what we talk about like, that's why the higher self is always like, it's silly to be in a space of being afraid to be ourselves, because you understand the context. Like imagine like the world where everyone is so worried about what everyone thinks about the other person being authentic that nobody's energetically authentic. It can be the other way. Like it can be the other way. When we move away from the feeling of having to be perfect, but we instead concentrate on being exquisite, we don't start looking at each other all the time, worried about what each other's thinking. We celebrate in the space of being in like relishing our own energy, right? It's like, I keep on hearing, it's the song of the self that becomes an energetic harmony that allows for that ability of being able to be in the unique vibration that allows you to explore you to your own ability, right? But I keep on hearing, there's nothing more upsetting than a journey where we're so worried about becoming what other people will say about us being ourselves that we never find ourselves, because often we feel that moment that we're always energetically missing something, and the person that we're missing is us. So let that kind of be a moment of being able to embrace that today. How can you move closer towards being your own unique self today? And remembering that as you do so, how can you allow others to do so in the process? That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Hangman card. Our next class will be held on May 14th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the death card. It's not that scary, I promise. We're going to study the history of the card, the symbology. I'm going to work you through spread applications, how you can read that card in any direction. I'm also going to show you guys a unique spread to help you channel the messages of the death card into your own readings. And all you need to do, if you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, is most mosey on over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up, but if you wanted to I'm going to do my best to give you a recap on everything we've studied prior to beginning the next class. But if you wanted to catch up, now's a great time to join because you'll be able to have about like 3 classes per week prior to our class starting. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions you may have in relation to anything that we have studied or are currently studying. And if you become a founding member to our Substack, not only will you have access, have a discount on the full year's worth of reading of classes, you will also have access to the entire library of the Tarot Church Archive. That's over 13 hours of material in an ever-expanding library. You'll also have access to the opportunity of receiving a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will meet with you personally and assess where you are on your tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things that I've tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in those classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events and my online live schedule. I also post my mystic meditation articles, which will let you know about a brief update on what we've been experiencing energetically in the cards. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal, spiritual journey and spiritual aspects and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey at a discount. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings. You can purchase those on an individual level per dream or as a series. If you purchase the dream series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.